Ragnar Lothbrok, the legendary king of the Vikings. Throughout history, there are names whose origins blur the line between fact and legend. Whether they truly lived or were born from myth, they become immortal in the imagination of humankind. One such name is Ragnar Lothbrok. His story is not only one of the Vikings' greatest tales but also one of the most captivating sagas in all of European history. Ragnar is sometimes remembered as a king, sometimes as a raider, and sometimes as an immortal hero. The sagas, written down in Iceland during the 13th century, carried his legend to us. According to these accounts, Ragnar was the son of King Sigurd Ring of Sweden and the grandson of King Randver of Denmark. Thus, in his blood flowed both the spirit of the warrior and the lineage of kings. Yet it was not his royal descent that made him immortal, but rather his courage, cunning, and ferocity on the battlefield. A leader, a father, a warrior. Ragnar was no ordinary Viking leader. To his men he was generous, always sharing the spoils of war fairly and ensuring none went hungry. Yet to his enemies, he was ruthless, merciless, and unstoppable. The sagas tell of Ragnar's many marriages and numerous children, some of whom became legendary in their own right. Ivar the Boneless, known for his ruthless intelligence and cruelty. Bjorn Ironside, famous for his unbreakable courage. Sigurd Snake-in-the-Eye, a mysterious warrior marked by the serpent shape in his eye. Hvitserk and Ubba, fearsome raiders who carried their father's legacy into bloody campaigns across England. These sons were not merely Viking princes, but living weapons of vengeance forged in their father's name. A life filled with victories. As Ragnar's name spread across the Viking world, his deeds traveled from the dark forests of the north to the royal courts of Europe. The sagas speak of his battles against the Bjarmians and the Sami tribes, where he struck down kings and bent northern lands to Viking power. But Ragnar's path was never easy. One of his greatest rivals was Harald Klak, who rose in rebellion time and again. Each time, Ragnar crushed him with a mixture of cunning strategy and sheer bravery. One of Ragnar's defining traits was his unyielding determination. Even when facing devastating losses, he never retreated, never accepted defeat. For this, the Vikings hailed him as the greatest warrior destined for Valhalla. Ragnar's final challenge. But the fate of heroes is often tragic, and Ragnar could not escape this rule. According to legend, before sailing for England, Ragnar made a bold vow: "I shall conquer England with only 2 ships." This challenge sealed his doom. With only a small fleet, he set sail for England, where King Ælla of Northumbria lay in wait. Ragnar was ambushed, captured, and taken prisoner. His death became one of the most horrifying tales in Viking lore. King Ælla cast him into a pit of snakes, where Ragnar drew his final breath. Yet even in death, he showed no fear. It is said that before dying, he uttered these chilling words: "The little pigs will squeal now, but when they grow, the great wolves will come for vengeance." The wrath of the sons, the Great Heathen Army. Ragnar's words were not empty. His sons, upon hearing of his death, swore a blood oath of vengeance. They united their forces and launched what history remembers as the Great Heathen Army in 865 AD. This army, led by Ivar the Boneless, Bjorn Ironside, Hvitserk, Sigurd Snake-in-the-Eye, and Ubba, crossed the sea and descended upon England with terrifying force. It was not just a raid, it was an invasion. They captured cities, burned villages, and shattered kingdoms. For years, their campaigns shook the Anglo-Saxon world to its core. The Great Heathen Army did more than avenge Ragnar, it changed the course of history. Their invasion marked the beginning of a Viking presence in England that would last for centuries, shaping the land, its politics, and even its culture. The very foundations of England were tested by the vengeance of Ragnar's sons. Legend or reality? Historians still debate the true identity of Ragnar Lothbrok. Some argue he was not one man, but rather a combination of several Viking leaders whose deeds were woven into a single saga. Others believe he did exist, but his life was exaggerated through generations of storytelling. What cannot be denied is the impact of his legacy. Whether man or myth, Ragnar's story inspired real people to action: his sons, his followers, and generations of Vikings who came after him. Ragnar represents the very essence of the Viking spirit, fearless, ambitious, and relentless. An immortal name. Today, Ragnar Lothbrok's name lives on, not only in historical texts but also in modern culture. Television series, novels, films, and video games have all breathed new life into his legend, ensuring that Ragnar's saga continues to inspire millions around the world. Ragnar reminds us that courage, leadership, and determination are virtues that can outlive death itself. For him, death was merely the gateway to Valhalla. And even now, Ragnar Lothbrok endures, remembered as one of the greatest Viking warriors of all time.